Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 99. Two-parter, kind of. Episode 99 and 100. Crazy that um, I've gotten this far. I've been doing this for over 2 years now, started at the beginning of 2023, so appreciate you guys hanging around. Try to be consistent with it. But 100, episode 100 is coming next week. I'm thinking about doing it live on stream Wednesday. So this one, we're going to talk about mobbing criteria. And then episode 100, I want it to be all about training, mobbing, um, rankings, kind of tiering them. And if you're in the Discord, you already know we've been doing the polls by classes first: mages, archers, pirates, warriors, thieves. And then next week, we're going to I'm going to get your opinion, right? It's not going to be just me, and kind of get everyone's ideas on what the top classes um, are in terms of mobbing and comparing them to each other, right? And kind of getting the community's input, right? Because it's not just about me. I don't know enough about a small part of a small a few classes, so I definitely gonna need help on those under um, represented classes. But want to join the Discord if you want to be part of the polls, be a part of the discussions. Going to have a lot of that next week, and then Wednesday the plan is to go live at night and get ahead it. Build a tiers ranking that is what is best represented by the community and not just me. So if you want to be a part of that, definitely join the Discord and stay tuned for that stream. So this episode, we're going to talk about what makes a great mobbing class and what separates sort of the the bad from the good and the good from the great, right? And I think there's a few things that really stand out, and the margins are small in my opinion. I think a lot of classes with the V skills have gotten um, more competent, but there's still things that really, some classes are just a level above everyone else. So we'll talk about that and what I think that those factors are. All right, so when it comes to creating criteria for mobbing, right? I think that there are a few things that separate the best classes, and I think it also rounds around what I call passive kills, right? If you ever watch your character mob and just do auto battle, a lot of times you'll see your character just not attacking, just walking around, rope lifting, like right now, right? And so I think what separates the good from the great and the great from like the S tier is really how many kills you can get without actually using your main attacks, right? Without the mob being right next to you. And so there are a few ways, right? One is what I like to call sort of tracking skills. And that is what you can give like a will skill, for example, where the attacks just target mobs on its own. Or if you would say even our Mighty Molnir hammers for Paladin, where it actually tracks mobs on its own um, once it's kind of used. Same thing for like phantoms. Same things for like Nightwalker's bats, Sia's, their orbs, and things like that. That is the tracking, like Adele swords. Just a lot of great examples. A lot of classes have it where once you proc it, it goes off and kills certain things, right? Then the next thing I would say is summons. Now, this is a little bit different. I would think of more as so, for example, like Bowmasters, their platter, arrow platter, right? Or even Kana in this map, where you'll see huge place down summons that just kill everything in a general area. Lumis are a great example of this. A lot of mages have it, right? Where um, just in a certain area, a certain platform, they're off killing mobs in that area. It's not really tracking, but it's killing things in a certain vicinity, right? And then map wide abilities are next. So you'll see the Kana one that just did it. Um, that you think of Wind Archers, Night Walkers, Blaze Wizards that just have an ability that just wipes the whole map, and whatever is on there. So like right here, there's Akana's big ability, the map clearer. So that's another one. And then the last one is touch damage. We like to call it touch damage, where so it's my hammers surrounding my paladin, right? My hammers of righteousness. You think of Sia's as their little tornado skill there. You can think of, I don't know, Demon Avengers. They have their little darkness around them. Fire Poison Mages have their Inferno Aura. A lot of different variations. Basically, that you're just near a boss, it's going to start doing tick damage and things like that. That um, makes it a lot easier. Like when you're rope lifting, when you are just walking around, not even attacking, these things tend to kill stuff, mobs, trigger mob kills before like my main attack, right? And so those are what I would say are the four main things that great mobbing classes have over the other. And I think maybe the last one, as kind of an asterisk, it is a tier below, but I think just mobility and just attack range of skills. So think of like for example, Arrow has their dash, their kind of teleport skill that allows them to just attack the boss or attack mobs sooner than other classes, right? And if you have a skill that can obviously attack from farther, it makes um, a huge difference, right? And same for like channel skills. Think of Wind Archers with their Song of Heaven, I think it's called, where they're attacking and moving and they're just walking at the same time. So that those have like a huge benefits. Not many classes have those, but those are obviously X factors, things that you have to consider when it comes to separating tiers of mobbing classes and what really makes a difference from just you getting the kill, a certain class getting a kill versus another class getting a kill. So how do you gauge that and decide which class kind of has more than the other? It really, for me personally, it's just how many of those do you have, right? Do you have multiple summons? Like look at Kana. You just watch the Kana. Do you have the will skill? You have this skill right here that is taking up this side of the map. They have um, they have a Kinshin that's killing stuff. They have so many different summons on top of their map clearing skill. Um, that they're really killing so many things without actually being near mobs at all, right? They're basically just placing summons down, placing map wide attacks down, and they're just letting it passively do damage. So if you have multiple of those things, then it obviously puts you at a tier above. While as like Paladin, pretty good. I think it's pretty good. They have two of them, right? They have touch damage with their Hammers of Righteousness, and they have their Mighty Molnir that targets, tracks. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's even like on the level of Adele's swords, Demon Avengers swords. They're just not as, their duration isn't as long. And these Hammers of Righteousness are only up half the time. And Paladins have something that has a hard time in these permas when there's smaller maps, more full party 6 out of 6s where they actually can't even keep these hammers up to do touch damage. So there's a lot of factors, but obviously the tiers, in my opinion, and how I rank them and how I believe it separates them is how many of these do you have, right? Mages are a great example. Pretty much every mage has multiple summons, map wide abilities, just attacks that kind of like chain lightning that chains and targets kind of other mobs. So it's going to make it very challenging to decide on how to rank these classes. It's going to be very subjective. And in all fairness, right, I think it's the best data that you can have. And I know Moonbeam did a video like this before in AF 170 where she compared Bowmasters to Kanas to I think it was like Blaze Wizards, Ice Lightning Mages, and just put them all in the same party and let them auto battle for an hour and um, see who has the most kills. That is probably the most accurate way, but in theory that's very challenging, right? Because like I've tried to gather data from all different classes, all different people, and there's just so many factors. For example, map, right? Who's in your perma, right? So like if I have we had like our Sia just left, but we have two Sias, a Kana, a Night Lord, and an Aran and Paladin, right? And my kill count kind of depends on who's in my party. If the Kana is taking all the kills, right? My kill count looks a little different than a Paladin that's in a party with maybe a Mercedes and a Demon Slayer and I don't know, like a marksman or something, kind of lower tier mobbers, right? So it's hard to just go based off of kill count and things like that. There just isn't enough data. So um, ranking them is really subjective and has a lot of factors, but try to keep it as consistent as possible based on what skills you have and how you get your kills. I think it makes it a lot more consistent and makes it um, possible to at least distinguish between who's good and who's great. And then obviously, if you can get kills count in comparison, that is sort of going to be the ultimate like redundancy of checks when it comes to what you know what my what to back up the data in a sense. So I just wanted to quickly show. So I want to just quickly show the polls in Discord, right? What the community thinks are the top classes in terms of mobbing. And this is just kind of elementary just to see. This isn't all set in stone, but what I did was I sort of categorized it by mages first, right? There's 10 mages, and based on this ranking, right, we had about 231 votes, and they were voting for the top 5. So people seem to agree that Lumi was the best mobber, followed by Kana, followed by Ice Lightning Mage, Kana, and then kind of a tie between, and then Sia, and then a tie between Fire Poison Mage and Blaze Wizards. So that's just a small community's opinion, but it's fascinating to see, right? Lumis have been great for a long, long time, and who am I to say that Lumis aren't the number one mage? My bias is that Kana, because I have a Kana my perma, and they're absolutely stealing every single kill. But we'll kind of break it down on what I think these classes excel in, right? Like Fire Poison Mages have so many different dot damage, and they have so many different abilities. They have summons, they have abilities that track and just do a lot of things that I think is very impressive. Blaze Wizards are kind of the same thing. They have a combination of their map clearing abilities. They have their orb kind of goes and attracts mobs as well, and they have things that they can kind of jump around. I think it's their salamander or something. So I think Blaze Wizards are very underrated. Evans, bishops, battle mages, and Kinesis, surprisingly, a lot of people didn't vote for it, maybe because they don't know too much about it, but I kind of thought Kinesis was going to be pretty good because every ability they have is sort of has a large AoE range, but I kind of need to learn more about it because maybe a lot of the times they're just walking around and don't actually get to activate those skills, and they're not really maximizing them because they don't have maybe as many summon skills as a lot of these other classes. But Ice Lightning Mages, obviously very good. I think Fire Poison Mages and Ice Lightning Mages are on the, very, very strong. I actually thought Fire Poison Mages may be better. I think from what I learned, Ice Lightning Mages may be a bit overrated, but we can talk about it more later. Sia as well. I think they're because I have 2 Sias in my perma, and my Paladin actually keeps up with it, and I don't think Paladins they're good, but not mage level good. And so I think that it's a little bit subjective, right? But yeah, Lumi, Kana for sure, I think are probably arguably the 2 best mages, maybe followed by Blaze Wizards. But these are all great. Great. No surprise, battle mages, bishops are at the top. I think just because, and then Kinesis here, interesting. But I think bishops just have a hard time because they don't have a lot as far as summons and map wide ability clears. And battle mages, I think, are pretty good. They have some summons, but I think just their main ability, I just don't think they have, in comparison to other mages. It's just hard to say that they're on par with the other top mages in terms of mobbing. Thieves, pretty even. There's still an hour left of this, but people agree Cadena's the best. But after that, Shadower, and then everything is pretty close, right? Phantoms, Ho Young even, and everything is 10%. So I think this tells me that no one really knows enough about these classes mobbing wise, and there's sort of no one really stands out. obviously besides Cadena. I'm curious about Cadena. If there's any top tier Cadenas out there, if there's a showcase or anything. But I always felt like Cadena was great for below level 200 mobbing because they had their own internal rope lift that allowed them to move around. But post fifth job, everyone gets rope lift. So maybe that advantage isn't as impactful in comparison because I don't know how many summons they have and like tracking skills and touch damage stuff. I think everything kind of bases off their mobility, but I could be wrong. Ho Young I think is actually pretty good. I think Ho Young's good. Um, Phantoms, Shadowers, yeah, these are very good classes too. I think as well. I actually think Night Lords are good, so I can see how anyone would think Nightwalkers, Night Lords, Phantoms, Shadowers are strong. Dual Blades. There seems to be a lot of dual blades out there at a lower tier, kind of a SF-144 range and below. But I don't know about fifth job. Post fifth job, they don't really have much in the toolkit that makes me believe that they're one of the better mobbing classes. Um, Pirates, let's see. Let's see the results. Pretty even. Mechanic's definitely great for alts and lower tiers because again they have their mobility, their rocket jump or whatever you call it. That's like a pseudo rope lift that allows them to just get to mobs faster. Cannoneers, Buccaneers. Again, I think a lot of these classes are good, not great, and people just don't know enough about them, and they're just nothing. None of them stand out. So I'm interested to see like the pirate mains that come out and say our mobbing's better than people think. Archers. Here's the votes as well. Bowmasters, no surprise there. But actually, people put Wind Archers above Bowmasters. That is surprising. I think people just don't know. Bowmasters are insane. Bowmasters may be the best mobbing class in the game. They have so many tracking skills and they have a lot going on. They have a lot. So Wind Archers are very good too. I would have to agree. Wind Archers could be like, Bowmasters could be 1A and Wind Archers could be like 1B. But Wind Archers have a lot in their disposal as well. And then the other ones, I think Wild Hunters have a few summons as well. Pathfinders, Tornado, Mercedes, not that good. Marksman, not that good. So I said rank top 3, and no surprise, it's Bowmaster, Wind Archer, and then kind of a third one is kind of based on your preference here. And then Warriors, I just posted this today, so it's still fairly new, but you can see right off the bat, Adele, Arrow, getting majority of the votes, right? I tend to agree. We have an Adele in my Arrow perma, and Adele's are getting a lot of kills. Arrows get a lot of kills too. I think if Arrows can one shot with their teleport charge skill, it makes it such a game changer. But right now, my gear isn't that good. But they have so many summons, and their attacks have a lot of hit vertically and horizontally, have a wide range that arrows are super strong, I think. And I really do think they can compete with Adele's. And Blasters, bad mobbers. I don't know too much about them. Demon Slayers, I can confirm, not good. Demon Slayers, unfortunately, mobile are poop. Now, if their Chaos Lock could have been an auto battle, they would have been insane, kind of similar to Arrow. But as of right now, they're too reliant on their internal combustion, where it's like their active skill. They don't have enough summons, and their touch damage is not great. So, yeah, not that great. And heroes, yeah. So I think Kaisers and Paladins will be sneaky good, and the Demon Avengers, obviously. If I were to pick my top 6 right now, I would go Adele, Demon Avengers, because they're Nether Shields, and they also have that touch damage surrounding them. That's very good. The Arrow, Kaiser, Paladin, and then Hayato. That'd be my top 6 right there. But I don't think Hayato is that good. They're okay. But yeah, Kaisers have their swords that fly around. Paladins have their hammers that fly around. Very similar, these 3. 1, 2, 3, very similar. And then I think Adele just has more. It just has more of it. So they're kind of a tier above, in my opinion. And then Arrow has a lot of summons. Arrow's very good. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Like, again, if you want to join in on the polls and conversations, we're going to have more of this kind of discussions and what people think. about who has the best summon skills, who is like the best among each class, right? Like after these polls go live, Lumi, comparing Lumis to Bowmasters, Wind Archers compared to whoever's the top here will be fun. Mechanics, just to get a better idea of how the best of the best compare and then the worst of the worst compare, just to get a better tier of ranking. Because ranking this is hard in general. So try to do the best I can. Episode 100 is going to be fun. And join the Discord, join on the polls, and then we'll go live on Wednesday to figure it all out, right? To get a discussion going and seeing. So um, definitely feel free to, in the comments, get ahead of it. Let me know if any classes are being underrated, overrated. I need to hear about all these underrepresented classes that maybe people just don't know about to help us understand, because it's all about learning, and it's all about just seeing what other classes have that maybe people don't know about. But that's the end of the episode 99. There's going to be a lot more content coming out. I got my arrow geared up to around 45 mil cap is what I'm predicting. So I'm going to be doing Archon, hard Archon on it, seeing how the DPS compares to my Demon Slayer, which is around 45 mil cap as well. New teams, new content, just excited. I've downgraded my Paladin to boost up my arrow. So a lot of moving parts, but it's honestly to prep for arcane gear coming out. It's honestly to prep for just getting more content, playing more classes, um, more Archon teams, Gloom, and just kind of building the army. So I'm really excited to see how far the arrow can go. Excited to just do more content and play the game and um, showcase a lot more stuff for you guys to in the future. So thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join the Discord again for all the conversations and all the polls, and stick around for the streams. I appreciate all the people that come through, and see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.